The Elite Four? Are you kidding me?
Hi, I'm Professor Silver, and today I'll explore Ash's history with the Elite Four, detailing how they impacted him as a trainer and helped prepare him for his eventual transformation into a monarch. To date, Ash has encountered 13 members of the Elite Four across 6 regions. They include Bruno, Prima, Lance, Drake, Agatha, Lucian, Aaron, Flint, Bertha, Caitlin, Malva, Wikstrom, and Drasna. Ash also met Koga and the Alolan Elite Four, but unlike their video game counterparts, none of them were elite in the show. Of the Elite Four that Ash has met face to face, almost all of them left a positive mark on his legacy. Like in the video games, the Elite Four of the anime are the strongest trainers in each region save for the champion. All of them have power far beyond that of the average gym leader or league competitor. It was while Ash was training for the Indigo League that he first witnessed their power. He sought out Bruno and to master the unexpected because he hoped to learn the secret of what makes someone a great battler. Bruno exploited Ash's curiosity for a time, but eventually taught him that caring for one's Pokemon was tantamount to achieving greatness. Although Ash and Bruno didn't battle, Bruno set the precedent for all future Elite Four trainers as super strong fighters. Doing what Brock's Onix, Misty Staryu, and Ash's Squirtle couldn't, Bruno single-handedly beat a giant Onix. It wasn't until Ash met Prima in the Orange Islands and the Mandarin Island mismatch that he finally battled one of the Elite Four. At the time, he was highly arrogant about his skill as a trainer. Prima taught him that he shouldn't be overconfident by disabling Charizard and beating Pikachu. She admired Ash, but thought that he needed to start sharing his success with his Pokemon. Rather than hog the credit all for himself, he needed to realize that it was them who won him his badges. By helping Ash see his team's contributions, she indirectly helped him win both Charizard's love and the Orange League. After Prima, Ash met Lance. Together, the two of them saved both Red Gyarados and Johto and the entire world in Hoenn. Although they've yet to battle each other, Ash and Lance bonded over their sense of justice. It annoyed Lance when Ash put himself in danger, but the Dragon Master couldn't help but respect the boy's drive. While Lance likely saw Ash as a younger version of himself, I'm sure Ash saw Lance as an inspiration for the type of trainer that he wants to be when he finally grows up. Despite bonding with Lance, Ash still had much to learn. By the time he met Drake in Hoenn, his 7 new badges had caused his head to swell with pride. In a vanity affair, Drake humbled him by beating Pikachu with Shelgon and Grovyle with Altaria. Drake partook in the battle because he saw himself in Ash and wanted the trainer to be more humble. All in all, the meeting with Drake was highly similar to the one with Prima. That's because both involved Ash getting knocked down a peg. Unlike with Prima, however, Drake reappeared in Journeys for a filler-filled treasure hunt. Soon after Ash returned home from Hoenn, he battled Agatha of Kanto in the Scheme team. He did so thinking she was merely the stand-in for the Viridian gym leader. Although Pikachu lost to her Gengar, his performance was so spectacular that Scott invited Ash to the battle frontier. Agatha was equally impressed with both Pikachu and Ash's performance, so she encouraged them to nurture their abilities by accepting the offer. Thanks to her recommendation, Ash went on to win the battle frontier and majorly level up as a trainer. Once the Frontier Saga ended, Ash headed to Sinnoh where he met all 4 of the region's Elite Four. Truth be told though, the first one he met, Lucian, interacted more with Dawn than him. I mainly mention Lucian because he taught Weasel how to take orders and lose with dignity. Without these lessons, Weasel would have been far weaker, making the Sinnoh journey all the more difficult. Rather than Lucian, it was Bug Specialist Aaron that first bonded with Ash. The two revealed themselves to be kindred souls in a trainer and child reunion after reminiscing about their respective first capture. While Ash thought fondly of Butterfree, Aaron wondered what befell his Wurmple. By helping Aaron reunite with his old friend, Ash reinforced within himself the power of friendship across time and space. In Flint Sparks the Fire, Ash battled Flint using Weasel, Pikachu, and Infernape. All 3 of them fell to Flint's Infernape, but their passion inspired Volkner to start battling again. Ash didn't necessarily learn very much from Flint, but it was awesome to see how the battle reinvigorated Volkner's spark and led to his rivalry with Ash. To me, the battle with Flint is a perfect example of why elite trainers all gravitate towards Ash. His youthful ambition for battling is beyond infectious. Against Sinnoh's last member of the Elite Four, Bertha, in an elite cover-up, Ash used Torterra against Hippowdon. During the battle, Bertha encouraged Ash to strengthen his powers of observation. She recognized that understanding one's surroundings allows one to execute smarter and more effective attacks. Ash instantly took to her suggestion, using it to counter-dig and deal heavy damage with Leaf Storm. He still lost in the end, but he did near as expected as someone who hadn't yet won a league. Despite all his travels, he was still far weaker than those in the Elite Four. It would be many years before he could challenge those of Bertha's rank. In fact, Ash didn't battle another Elite Four until Journeys. That's partially because Unova offered little in terms of exposure for the Elite Four. 3 members didn't appear, while Caitlyn only showed up to battle Cynthia's Garchomp. She didn't talk to Ash, so I don't consider her having much of an impact on his legacy. If I were to truly grasp at straws, though, I would say that watching Garchomp battle helped him in beating Cynthia at the Masters 8. In Kalos, Ash teamed up with Malva so as to defeat Lysander's Pokemon. The two didn't interact very much, but I know she respects his passion as he helped inspire her to turn against Team Flare. To me, their teaming up together with Alon implied that they were near equals. Had they battled then and there, I have no doubt that Ash Greninja would have beaten her Mega Houndoom. Since I'm not counting Alola, the next time Ash met up with one of the Elite Four was in the Journeys episode, Searching for Chivalry. He trained under Wikstrom of Kalos as he wanted to help Farfetch'd become a League Master. Because of the man's intense training regime, Ash tamed one of his most powerful Pokemon and learned more about chivalry. Wikstrom's teaching was so effective that Farfetch'd would later evolve and become one of the greatest knights that the Pokemon world had ever seen. As a result of the transformation, Ash earned his first win against the Elite Four in the episode Taking 2 for the team. While Sirfetch'd tied with Drasna of Kalos' Mega Altaria, Dracovish fainted her Noivern. The win not only advanced Ash to rank 9 of the World Coronation Series, but also proved that he was finally stronger than those in the Elite Four. As a fan of the anime for over 20 years, I can't underscore how impressive this victory truly was. During the Masters 8, Ash went one step further and cemented himself as the world's strongest trainer by beating Steven Stone, Cynthia, and Leon. For comparison, Lance, the best the Elite Four ever had to offer, lost in the tournament's first round. Given that Ash won the tournament, I hope to never see him lose to one of the Elite Four ever again. They taught him things like empathy, humility, patience, and passion, but only time will determine what future encounters with the Elite Four are in store for his future. Personally, I'd like to see the tables be reversed, with Ash now being the one that doles out the constant beatdowns and life lessons. Since I can't predict the future, however, class is adjourned. My name again is Professor Silver. Until next time, catch you later.